No, you're late. I'm on the pan time. Greetings, greetings, greetings,
Hi, everybody.
greetings.
Welcome to Here to Help You. We got a good show today.
Yes, we do. It's
We
gonna be
have
an
a great
interesting
show
one.
today.
Mhm.
We have a lot of changes happening, everybody. So stay tuned in the next few months. There's going to be lots and lots of changes. Changes not only to the show itself, but changes to like everything. You guys are going to see. I don't want to give away any details because then it won't be as fun. It won't be like surprise.
Just stick with us, okay?
Surprise.
Just stick with us.
So quickly,
Do that
we're going to
again?
surprise.
All right. You know, they say it's legit if it's 3 times, right?
Okay, there's my tree. So we're going to run through some things quickly because we do have a guest in today.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to waste any time. I want to get him in here because he's a busy man.
Not only that, I mean, he's got a lot of information to share with us today.
So excited. We have Mr.
Very.
Rainford Cornish, the Honorable. He's going to probably be like the Honorable. I'm going to drop that one on him.
We'll see how he reacts to that one.
And he looks like a reverend today. I'm going to tell him that too.
Yeah, very proper.
Very.
No, there's an explanation for that, I tell you.
Why he looks like a reverend? We'll talk about that when he gets out here. But let's talk about a few things that are coming up because I want you guys to understand Here to Help You spawned from our co-company, Here to Help, which is a teaching, counseling, mentoring, and community development company. And a lot of people don't understand sometimes what we do. On top of that, we also have an affiliate music group. It's all connected to Care Media.
It's all
101
symbiotic.
Group. Yeah, all of it's symbiotic, and that's Here to House You.
Mm-hmm.
So Here to House You is, of course, none only than
only.
Mr. DJ Dave Rankin.
Mr. DJ.
So you've
Yes.
been doing some things since you started last year. You've come a long way.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And you're doing more. So what's the latest things besides Here to House You that comes on care101.com Mondays 10 o'clock till This is the nonsense today. But honestly, guys, you
love
need
you.
to catch it.
It's
It's
all
an
love.
awesome show. What's coming up for you this week?
The Art Square Gallery, Opera House. Could we throw up that flyer real quick? Yes. Sarah Jane, big up. This Friday, the April 27th, over by the Art Square Gallery, Opera House. It's no cover whatsoever. So you cannot find an excuse why I'm not having the money feet. You know, we're not charge you feet anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Because I am.
Yeah, I know.
I'm doing my thing. All right, so
334
Okay.
Dundas Street West, the Art
Okay.
Square Gallery. Come out if you want to come out and enjoy some new sounds, good music. You know, and more importantly, just wonderful energy. Peace, come through, bring your love. What song?
I don't know which one it is.
No.
No. I love Afro House. I've just grown to love it. It's like, you know what? It's new. It's not new, but it's fresh. It's not heard as much, but I really believe that soon. You know how usually when you go to like jam, it's start the night with like 90s, and then you do some reggae, then you do some calypso, then you do some hip hop. I think they're gonna start throwing in Afro House soon. That's what we want to happen because it's good music.
Well, the emergence of course, of Afro beats, right? I'm not talking about, of course, the Afro beats from Fela Kuti or Fela and Fumi, right? We're speaking, of course, right now, right? The electronic sound and so on and so forth, right?
Okay, because you lost me.
That's what Afro beats was from Fela Kuti, right?
Okay,
so,
see, I'm learning. Fela. Can you spell that?
F-E-L.
I don't need it right now.
No, not at all? Oh,
but,
okay, cool.
So that's awesome. And another big thing that's coming out of Here to Help is
your book launch. Yes, could we thought? Yes, there it is, May 7th. Come see.
I'm so shy. I'm so shy, guys.
In conjunction with the Young Black Women's Association.
So do you guys want to hear my starting line? Do you guys want to hear this? It's pretty intense.
It's an early reading, folks.
So, very first line of my book is, she is hellfire and holy water, all in one. Now, guys, honestly, you guys want to know what the hell I mean. What do I mean? What do you mean hellfire? Anyone who knows me knows that I can be like a little slice of hell. And in the same breath, I'm really kind.
Wow.
I'm honest. Listen, I'm true to my demons. And this was the first time that I've ever seen my demons on paper.
Yes.
And the first time I read it back, I won't lie, I cried. There was a tear in my eye because I was like, oh my gosh. But anyhow, hopefully you guys can make it out to that.
Yes. Definitely come support, especially, you know what, for all women out there who are looking for some sort of guidance. It's a wonderful initiative. That means, you know, bring your love, send your support.
So we're going to condense this because we were late, so we can't have the time to just tell you about a lot of stuff. But in the Now on Friday, I'll be dropping some things, some events that are happening. Also, before I go really quickly, I do want to say again, we've all been talking about this. Toronto, our heart goes out to those who suffered yesterday.
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
That was like, I don't want to talk about it too much because it is very negative type energy, and I don't want to even bring that in here.
Right.
But I will say this, like, you guys, you have MyTCNTV here to help you. We are here. If there's anything that is needed, we are here. We feel for you guys. It's terrible. Like, I don't even know. When I heard it, I was just like, really?
Shocking. Very shocking. Just to see, you know, exactly what has spawned. And we've watched the news where incidents like this has happened all over the world.
But not in Toronto.
But that's exactly
That's the thing.
right?
It's never been here. So, again,
we'll
we
show
love
our
you
resilience.
all. We love our community. You know, keep your head up. We'll get through this.
Stay vigilant, family.
We stay together. When we come back, we will be having Mr. Rainford Cornish. I say his name.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCNTV Network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCNTV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
So, I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle.
That's gonna be the new dance right there. Caravana on fleek.
I'm always doing something. Welcome back, everyone. Listen, we're gonna introduce you. Take your time, Mr. Cornish. I always feel, honestly, I feel like I go right back to high school when this man's around. I really try. Like, I go straight to Mr. Cornish. I feel like, I swear I should be in class. So, I don't know if you guys watched the last time we had our guest on, but yeah, I learned a lot. I tried to like spit a fact, and he just looked at me. He gave me that teacher look like, okay, what happened? When did Jamaicans come here? And I was wrong, but it was okay because I'm still, but I would have failed. It would have been a terrible fail. But we have today our special guest who traveled all the way from Brampton. What's the name of the school again?
Central Peel.
The Central Peel in Brampton. Came all the way here to teach us some more about the African journey to Canada. So, today, guys, I'm telling you now, book, pen, learning. I'm not doing anything else. Today's not one of those days. I'm just going to sit back and take some notes.
Okay.
So, Dave, Mr. Cornish, teach. Go ahead. Start.
All right.
What are we learning about first? First of all, how are you?
I am doing very well. It's been great since my first time here.
That is good, and I'm sure there's been advancements in certain
I've
things.
done a bit since then. I've been involved with the writing a resource for the grade 10, to enhance the grade 10 curriculum, to integrate Black history into the curriculum since the last time I was here.
Okay.
Part of that, I was speaking to Dave earlier, that came out of that writing piece is, you want to hold this up if you don't mind.
I will.
It's just a resource that I put together to enhance the grade 10 curriculum, the grade 10 history curriculum, that is. So it says African Canadian History Resources, and it's an effort to enhance what's going on, what we would teach in a typical grade 10 history class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How long did the process take to go ahead and complete something like this for you?
Well, this was we gathered over, I think, 3 sessions, not myself only. There were a number of Peel teachers that came together to put this. It's a broader package of lessons.
Right.
This is just one aspect of it that I worked on, which is creating this resource
Okay.
to augment all the lessons that we have put together as teachers over the last little while.
And when you see enrollment for of course this topic to be spread out amongst the curriculum, I mean, how soon do you think this will take place?
Well, we're integrating this right now in the grade 10 curriculum.
Okay.
So the lessons that we developed are being integrated right now in the pilot schools. So that is Central Peel, David Suzuki Secondary, and Castlebrook Secondary. We're piloting right now.
Excellent.
We made a presentation to the superintendent, one of the superintendents at the board already, so it's going to be going live soon.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What do you think are the chances of something like being spread out to not only just, of course, the few pilot schools in Brampton, but all over the GTA at some point?
You know what? Eventually, that's where we're going, because based on the Interior Equity and there's a document the Ontario government published, I think it's Equity and Inclusion, I forget the exact name of it, but this is one aspect of it that we'll try to integrate more ethnic history, ethnically, culturally relevant history into the curriculum. So it's something that you will see over the next few years right across the province, not just in Peel.
This is a lot of information.
I had a chance to look at it as well. I mean, yes, ma'am. We definitely thank you, and as well as the other teachers' efforts for even just putting something together at something like this.
Yes.
Because now it gives hope.
Yes,
right?
People have been asking for it, right? You know, when your parents are here, well, what about our history? Like, there's a lot of talking, but no one actually has put this together. So, African Canadian History Resource.
Right, and this is exactly why I did this, because it's annotated as well. It's not just giving a list of documents, a list of names and stuff, but if you go through from page 1 to the it's annotated. And on the last couple of pages, of course, there's a bibliography of the sources referenced in here. But it's annotated, it's detailed.
Yes.
It covers every unit in every unit in the grade 10 history curriculum.
Wow.
There is something in here that a teacher can integrate into their classroom.
Excellent. So they really don't have to break stride in that case, right?
Most of the work is already here.
He made it easy for everybody. How nice. This is awesome.
Yes.
So, can I can students, like, do you have adult students? Do you have an adult course? I was going to ask you, do you have like an adult?
Not yet. Not yet. Hopefully, eventually in the future. Right now, we're offering, as I said, the Greater Industry is mandatory. So this is geared towards that. But in the next school year, so 2019, 2020, we're hoping also to roll out a grade 11 Black History course in our school.
That would be awesome.
I'm working on that right now for the 2019, 2020 school year.
Beautiful to hear. What are the students, how are they accepting of the information, right? And especially when they hear, of course, stories in regards to like us not only just coming here and being part of the first, right, of trailblazers. So what is their acceptance?
Yeah.
Right. You know, what I find is, speaking specifically for the Canadian history course, the moment a teacher can situate his or her students within the course itself, within the curriculum, within the content, you find that the students become more interested. The moment you can relate it to their experience. So let's say, for example, we're doing a unit on World War I. You know, typically we talk about the typical Canadian names that we would hear, Billy Bishop, and, all the others who served in the war. But then how many people know that there were over 600 Black Canadians that served as part of the No. 2 Construction Battalion that was based out of Nova Scotia? And there were others who served in the 106 Battalion of the CEF, Canadian Expeditionary Force, that served in World War I. But in addition to that, let's move away a little bit from the Black history. If we want to make history relevant to our students, look at who is in our classroom. How many people know that there were over 1.75 million? Don't quote me on the number.
Right.
But there were a number of Indians from India who actually served with the British in World War I. 75,000 of them died as part of the British forces in World War I. More than the number of Canadians. 66,000 roughly died for Canadian soldiers. Well, there were 75,000 Indians who died in World War I.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a staggering fact.
One of those who served in World War I was Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi.
He
served with the British in World War I.
That's right.
So we need to situate the students, let them see look at who is in our classroom. How can we integrate some of what their people, their ancestors have done into the curriculum? And it sparks interest.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right, and since we've talked about, of course, the history resources, we're going to touch a little bit in regards to information which is within the booklet itself. So the floor is yours. Can we get picture number 1 for me, please? The Wilberforce Settlement.
Yes.
I don't know this yet. Book's coming out.
So tell me about the Wilberforce Settlement.
I have to go a little bit more.
Yes, I'll move it for you.
I have to go a little bit beyond the Wilberforce settlement. Thank you. Understand that slavery existed in America, okay? And there were many blacks who escaped from slavery in America, many of them via the Underground Railroad, and of course several hundred thousands more after slavery was abolished in America. But prior to slavery being abolished, there were thousands who came to Canada. Now, once they crossed into Canada, they became free men and women. They had to find a way to live. They had to find a way to survive in Canada. They had to establish communities. One of the first communities that was established was the Wilberforce settlement. Okay. And this was established in 1829, 1830, and it was named after William Wilberforce, who was the British gentleman who fought vehemently against slavery in the British Empire. Many blacks came up from Cincinnati, Ohio, and they established a settlement called the Wilberforce Settlement in 1829, 1830.
Excellent. What do you think their early life would have been like, especially coming into Canada, and Canada, the weather as well, right? Having to deal with the forces. But what do you think? What did they do early in their life, and of course, existence in Canada at that time?
Well, they had to build a settlement. They had to learn how to work the land, how to farm. how to eke out a living for themselves now that they were free. I mean, prior to this, they were held as slaves. Okay, their master provided a modicum of support for them. But now they are free men and women. They had to figure out, they had to dig deep within their recesses and figure out, how are we going to survive in this hostile environment? Hostile in terms of the climate, in terms of the geographic, the terrain. How are we going to make a living? So they had to survive, figure out how to survive here.
Okay, stop. I'm going to stop you because I know how this goes. When we come back, we're having more. Do you know what we be coming up with? What are we be talking about next day?
Well, the rest of the show, the primary focus is going to be on, of course, African Canadian settlements right across the land.
Okay, so across.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, that's right.
Across Canada. We'll be back, everybody, with Mr. Cornish.
This is my first year here, and I was so excited.
I've had so many people stop, so much traffic. I'm absolutely tired.
Because of all the exposure that I got from this great event, I was able to grow and evolve and create my very own label.
It's been a fantastic event.
This is my second year.
This is a great and awesome event connecting to the community.
So yeah, we urge you to join. Here's a great turnout.
So for those of you who are not here this year and have business, make sure that you're here next year because it's only going to get better every year.
So I will be back next year. So thank you. This is so awesome.
So people who aren't here, what would you tell them?
You're missing out. Come out and have some fun.
So I'm not going to be disrespectful about it. First of all, welcome back.
Thank you.
But I have to pick on him. Last time I got to pick on him, I got to, get him laughing a little bit because he's Mr. Cornish. So everyone expects him to be, So I had to ask him. He was complaining about being a little hot.
Yeah.
So I had to ask him, why did you come in your reverend suit today?
I figured that question would come up.
You look like my dad right now. Like you're about to preach a message.
It's not by choice, but okay. Well, yes, it is by choice. Okay. I was actually in the vice principal's office today.
Okay.
We have a thing called TIC, Ticking, Teacher in Charge for the day. So I was, quote unquote, the vice principal for the day. So I had to dress a little bit more formal.
Reverend-like?
Well, normally I would have worn a suit and, a jacket and pants and stuff. But because of the weather today, I said, okay, I'm just going to wear a, whatever you call it. It's a vest.
Yeah. Need the white piece.
So that's why I'm dressed like this. I'm more casual like the first time.
You look very handsome, Mr. Cornish.
Well, thank you.
I had to do something. I couldn't just, I've been learning, but I have to throw something in there. Okay.
Be careful, he's right there.
Serious situation now. History. Keep going, Mr. Cornish. What's next? What's next? Let's hear this.
Don settlement?
The Don settlement.
Yes. Can we get the picture about the Don settlement? Now, when mostly people who are the Don settlement, they hear about, of course, Josiah Henson.
Yes.
Right. Take us in. There's also, of course, some of our family out there that don't know Josiah Henson themselves. So, by means, take us into the story in regards to the early portion of the Don settlement and so on and so forth.
Okay. Well, Josiah Henson, by the way, is a runaway slave. Came to Ontario in the 1840s, and he settled near Dresden, Ontario. And he established a settlement called Don in 1842. Okay. Now, understand that this settlement was set up with a view of showing everybody that blacks are capable of governing themselves. Okay. So it was totally, but from the beginning, though, they faced some pressures because there were many white settlers who figured, no, blacks aren't capable of doing this. Not only that, we don't want them in our backyard as well. Okay, but he persisted, and so in 1842, This black abolitionist by the name of Reverend Josiah Henson established this community called Dawn. The key to Dawn, however, also was to provide education. Okay, for the people. So the school that was run in Dawn, they established a school. They had their own post office.
Right.
They have their church. By the way, have you ever heard about Uncle Tom's cabin?
Yes, I visited. Yes.
You visited there.
Yes.
Good. That's in the Dawn settlement.
That's right.
Right. And if you go to Dresden now, that his church is still there.
Yes.
The home he lived in is still there.
Yeah, we
as
can.
well.
Yeah, I remember the last time we visited.
They went touring.
Yeah, exactly. We took the tour.
That's right. That's right. So they wanted to teach the people, to educate the people. How to survive in Canada. Teach them some trades that they could use. So at the school, they taught blacksmith, they taught cooking, they taught bookkeeping, and several other trades that would be necessary for their newfound life in Canada.
That's interesting in regards to that now. We get a set of people coming in regards to, of course, the nation building, and I'll stressing, of course, the fact about the nation building.
Yeah.
You know, when your students hear something like this, right? Does it now resonate with the fact of the emotional side of things, or now does it resonate for the fact that they know they have something now to go ahead and do because their ancestors have done it as well?
Do teenagers think that much? I don't think they do. They go right to their phone. They're like,
yeah.
Josiah Henson, we got it.
Yeah.
He did some stuff. Dresden, got it. We're gonna visit.
And I like your approach. You know, seriously though, you're right. They're teenagers. They're not necessarily. They're not necessarily making those effective connection, those intuitive connection to the history. But like right off the bat. However, it is good that they know this information, because many of them will go home and say, hey, to their mom or dad, hey, guess what I learned today at school? I learned about this community. Okay? Now, we may not see a reaction from the students right away, but if one or two students take away something from that lesson, then that's a plus.
Excellent.
Give you an example. A few years ago, the students were doing a research for my Great Indian history. And I challenged the students to do a research on the West Indian domestic scheme. Now, what's that? They said. They never heard about it. This was a scheme that was started in 1950 to bring women from Jamaica, mainly women, to work as domestic helpers in Canadian households. Okay? And these women had to be educated, had to be able to read and write in English. Many of them who came were nurses already in Jamaica. They were teachers, so they were professionals. Okay, so I challenged the students to go and research the history of these individuals, and one took it on her, and she actually did a beautiful research paper.
Wonderful.
That girl, she's amazing though, because she went on to write. She's in grade 11 now or 12. And she has written 2 books already.
Okay, so that was just spurred her.
Yeah.
And it's her second book. She brought it back to me. She has moved away from Brampton now, but she came back to visit me a few weeks ago and showed me that I inspired her to research about the West Indian domestic scheme. And she referenced me in her book. It's like, wow. So we may not reach all, but if we reach 1 or 2, then that's, I mean, like what we're doing here now, this may not be for everybody.
Right.
Not everybody is interested in history. Not everybody is as enthused about history as I am. But the fact is, if we get 1 or 2 people interested in our history, then
we've done a service.
We've
it's a
planted
plus.
the seed.
That's right.
There we go.
That's
and
right.
It will grow into oaks.
Right.
So oaks.
Let's get back to Dawn. Get back to Dawn. So the Dawn settlement, as I said, they had their own school. The school was called the British American Institute. The British, and so life revolved around the school. It was like the social setting in the community. And so, as I said, some of the skills that were taught in the school and in Dawn settlement. After a while, however, there was some internal fighting that led to the demise of the community.
You mean a Jamaican community?
No, stop it.
Oh, that happened
No.
back then? Really?
Oh, come on. Yeah. No.
That's why you're
this
laughing,
is totally,
Mr.
this is totally African Americans that came up, and there were some outside pressures. For example, there were, as I said, many of the white neighborhoods around did not want them to survive, so they were undermined in their efforts. And of course, in every community, there are some who think that why should these people be the leaders and not us?
Right.
So there was that kind of internal pressure.
I see.
As a matter of fact, Robin Winks, I'm going to quote from my research here.
Okay.
Robin Winks, who wrote a book in 1997, the book is entitled The Blacks in Canada.
Blacks in Canada, yes.
Here's what Winks said in his book. He contends that unclear aims, poor management, religious sectarianism, and black factionalism held Don back from the beginning. And the personalities and abilities of the men most charged with his success piled white alienation upon Negro and disenfranchisement. Now, if you take that, what Robin Winks concluded in his book, that, yeah, it's because of mismanagement and, and it's going against the whites in the neighborhood. But if you take that on face value, it seems plausible. But understand the pressures that were brought on this settlement.
Right.
Okay. Here is a black-owned community that was thriving. It was successful. At its height, it had around 500 residents living there.
Okay.
It was thriving. It was successful. Okay. And so, what Henson wanted to prove, which I believe he achieved, was to prove that blacks were capable as anyone else to govern themselves. To govern themselves.
One problem, though. For some reason, and history continues to repeat itself, Mr. Cornish, we bring upon our own demise. We bring it on ourselves a lot of the time because some of those things, what were they, mismanagement? What was the other three? Because they all sound familiar.
Right.
Well, that's just one person's view of what happened there.
It's interesting because I'm telling you, when I hear those things, I think about some of the communities right now, and I'm saying, like, history does repeat itself. And we see this. Me hearing this, it's just, I shouldn't be able to relate to that.
Right.
Right?
Okay. Point taken. But in the case of the Don settlement, though, we're talking about in the 1840s, 1850s. Okay? Blacks in Canada did not have much power beyond their little community. Again, the term NIMBYism, not in my backyard.
NIMBYism.
That's right. It's nothing new. It was going on from back then. And there were people on the outside, there were outside forces that were pressuring the settlement. They worked against the settlement to be successful. Okay? So Don and all the others like it from others who existed before and after, those pressures were very real.
Yeah. It's understandable.
Very real.
It's understandable. Okay. I don't want you guys to go into anything heavy, okay, because we only have a minute left. How about we maybe introduce what we are going to be talking in our last segment?
Yes, our last segment. I know we stated Ontario, but we want to definitely jump into Alberta.
Okay.
Because you know what, a lot of our members out here have not heard of some of the settlements, right? And especially from Alberta, we'll chime into, of course, the BC, and of course we'll hit the Atlantic if we have any time left afterwards.
Okay.
All right.
So we're going Alberta.
Yes.
BC. And then
Maritimes.
Atlantic. Maritimes. Is that Atlantic?
Yes.
Yes.
Still learning, everybody. I'll see you guys very soon. I'm here to help you.
All righty.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCNTV Network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCNTV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
So welcome back, everybody, to Here to Help You. So if you are just joining us, we have the esteemed, I didn't drop any adjectives this time, so I'm going to drop some right now. Honorable, distinguished, Reverend Mr.
Boy, you're funny.
Mr. Cornish. So if you guys are just joining us, you guys have missed, of course, I don't want to just say it's a history lesson, because you know what, there's certain things about us as a people that we need to, I think you're right, the idea of being able to identify yourself in the information allows you to know, again, just know where you came from and where you have to go. So
that's right.
We've been in, where were we right now? We were in Ontario.
Yes.
We were in Ontario. We did the Dunn community.
Yes.
What was the other one?
Wilberforce.
Yes.
You got some help. I was gonna.
You're
yes,
let me
yes,
struggle.
yes, I was. Yes, I was.
And now we're going to Alberta, I think.
Yes.
Alberta. So let's hear this. What are we talking about with Alberta?
Can we start the picture with Amber Valley, please?
Amber Valley.
Yes. Talk to us about Amber Valley.
It looks very desolate.
It was at the time. It was at the time around 1910, 1911, when a group of African Americans came up into Alberta, into Amber Valley, Alberta. It was a desolate area at the time to establish a black community.
Imagine that in the Midwest.
In the Midwest,
wow.
Yeah. I think right from they came up from Oklahoma. Now the interesting thing about Amber Valley is that before the blacks moved into Canada, or when they were thinking about moving, the Canadian government sent representatives down to Oklahoma.
Oh boy.
To dissuade them from coming across to Canada.
Oh boy, wow.
What techniques did they use?
Oh, stop it.
We're asking questions.
They just send representatives down.
Okay, that's it.
To discover.
Don't
them.
come here.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
In fact, the Canadian government passed what's called an order in council to limit the number of blacks that were coming into Alberta during this time period. There's a book written by his last name is Shepherd called the name.
Slips you.
I'll get to the name of the book.
Don't worry.
Deemed Unsuitable. That's the name of the book.
Okay.
Deemed Unsuitable.
Okay.
That these blacks were deemed unsuitable for the Canadian climate.
Interesting.
So when they wanted to immigrate to Amber Valley, Alberta, they were prevented at first because they were deemed they were not the ideal immigrants.
Right.
This was a time when Canada was still opening up the West to Americans, to other Americans.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yet they were not. And I think I mentioned it last time when I was here that this was the same year when not Josiah Henson, when Matthew Henson went to the North Pole.
North Pole. Yes.
Okay. Same year.
I don't know why.
You don't know why. But in Amber Valley, though, they arrive, as I said, they settled there. And again, just like in Dawn, they try to integrate into the society. They built their school, built their churches, built a post office, and find ways to work the land, because this land was not clear. It was not clear at the time. It was forested. So they had to find a way to build those sod houses and other kind of houses to survive in this hostile environment.
Oh, wow. You can imagine the experience.
That's in Amber Valley, Alberta.
That's crazy. It's a crazy experience. I mean, and it was 1910, I believe?
Yeah, 1910, 1911, thereabout.
Okay. Excellent, man. Let's go to the next set of pictures.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
What did you have? What was next again? It slips my mind. We're at the next element. But let me know which next element would you like to speak about?
Did you want to go across to Salt Spring?
Sure, let's do that.
In British Columbia?
There we go. British Columbia.
You forgot?
Yes,
Wow.
I did.
Wow.
I know. You let me sit back and I know.
I'm sorry.
Hush.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
No, you're okay.
Okay, so there's the Salt Spring Valley in that is in British Columbia.
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, that's a map.
Yeah,
I found
map
that
of-
online, and all the green dots were the settlements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look at you, Dave.
Yeah, look at he's becoming a historian.
I know.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yes.
Mr. Cornish.
taking
See, you have another
some
student.
lessons.
See, you have another student. He's going to write a book and then put you in it. No worries.
There you go.
But in British Columbia though, this is in the 1850s.
Okay.
Okay, when a group of black settlers actually moved up from California.
Okay.
Because British Columbia straddles California. So these are blacks, and there were 3 blacks that came up and set up shop, so to speak, in British Columbia. You know, among them, of course, was Mifflin Gibbs and others who were already businessmen in America, and they came up. This was in 1850, 51, thereabout, 52.
Okay.
Now, understanding that very year, why is Amber Valley so, not Amber Valley this time, Salt Spring and the British Columbia black settlements was so important? In 1850, the U.S. government passed a law which is called the Fugitive Slave Act. Let me speak directly to that.
Go ahead.
The Fugitive Slave Act was passed by the U.S. Congress that says any American, and that should read any white American, could capture and sell a black person and return a black person to slavery.
Oh boy.
Even if he or she were free.
Wow.
That was passed in 1850.
Okay.
And if you didn't, you could be thrown in jail for not returning them to slavery.
Wow.
So there are many raids on in communities in America to capture blacks and sell them. You think of a guy just riding around on his horse, want to make a quick buck. Hey, let's go capture whatever you want to call him.
Right.
And we want to make some money. And they go and sell that person. Some even made trips into the northern states, which were free, to capture.
Like 12 years a slave.
That's right. And sell them into slavery because they want to make money from it. So it is within that environment that I think it was over 600 or so blacks moved from California into Canada.
Okay.
And once they came into Canada, many of them they were already operating businesses in America. So they continue their businesses, their tailoring, their convenience stores, etc., their laundry establishments in Alberta.
Excellent.
Sorry, in British Columbia.
British Columbia, yes.
And again, one of them, Mifflin Gibbs, was also part of the run for the British Columbia provincial government.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, history tells us that in 1870, Gibbs, not 1870, Mifflin Gibbs was one of those individuals who, when they were when British Columbia, because it was a British territory up to that point, when they were negotiating with Canada whether they should join Confederation or not, Mifflin Gibbs, this black man from California, was one of those individuals who were involved in the negotiation with the British to get British Columbia into Confederation.
All right.
That's an excellent contribution.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Learning more today.
And in Amber Valley, you might want to, for those who are looking, you might want to look up the Sylvia Stark story.
Okay.
You know, she was a matriarch of the Starks clan. She was born in Clay County, Missouri, 1839, and they escaped to freedom in British Columbia and set up in Salt Spring. And there are many others I could mention on here.
Excellent, man. Yeah. Excellent. Because of course we may be short on time. Let's jump into the Atlantic.
Okay. Nova Scotia, which one?
Yes, let's go right into Nova Scotia.
We could talk about. Okay, I'm just going to mention a few here.
No worries.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
In British Columbia. Sorry, I keep saying British Columbia.
You're saying Alberta first.
I know it.
British Columbia. Now you're on. It's okay. You're catching up.
I'm
You're
catching up. I'll get there one time today. Okay, so in Nova Scotia, there were 2 main settlements in Nova Scotia. One was Africville, about which we talked earlier. In fact, Africville was Canada's oldest black community.
Okay.
Okay. Because that was established right after the American War of Independence in 1776.
Okay.
When many loyalists, black loyalists, came over to Canada. Okay, some came as free men because they wanted to fight alongside the British. Others came as part of the white settlers, the white loyalists. They came as slaves.
Okay.
And they settled in the north end, the Bedford Burson end of Nova Scotia.
Okay.
And that place became known as Africville. Africville existed from the 1700s up to 1970, when the last building in Africville was bulldozed by the Halifax government. They wanted to make way for a new development, so they leveled the town of Africville. Africville had its own church, it had its own post office, had its own school. These homes were built by the people who lived there.
Yes.
They didn't have running water, didn't have paved roads, but nonetheless, this was their community.
Right.
Okay? They had built this from scratch. And so the Halifax wanted to expand. So what they did bulldoze this entire community.
That's nuts.
We talked about it in the first show.
Yes.
Then another one that was in Africville was Birchmont. Earlier on, I referenced the Black Battalion, No. 2 Construction,
Right.
and that many of the troops who served in the Black Battalion, No. 2 Construction, from 1916 to 1918, most of those guys were from Birchtown in Nova Scotia.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Amongst them was he fought at Vimy Ridge in 1917. Jeremy Jones. I think I referenced him the last time that he was recommended for a military medal.
For a medal, that's right.
He never received it. Eventually he did posthumously, I think around 1970 something.
Okay.
That's Birchmont.
Wow, interesting.
There were black settlement though in predominantly black, or it's a mixed settlement in Prince Edward Island.
Yes, that's a very interesting fact.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't understand that we've had some people on PEI for a very long time.
That's right. It's called the Bog. B-O-G. It's Charlottetown Mid-Settlement. It was a black community, home of free slaves and their descendants throughout the 19th century. Okay? There were about 500 town lots that were in there, and many of those were settled by blacks who went to Prince Edward Island. One of our black boxes came from Prince Edward Island.
Yes,
Really?
yes. There's a book about that too.
Yeah.
I think
The
there
name
it is.
slipped me right now.
There he is. That's a gentleman right there.
Island Stories.
Look
There
at
he
Dave
is.
today, eh?
He did some research.
Hey, man.
I mean,
Look at Dave today.
oh my
We come to
gosh.
play.
That's awesome. So this gentleman, I can't see his name, Dave. What is his name?
Well, that's just the name of the book.
Okay.
Right. The box is his name.
His name
Yeah.
is-
Yeah,
okay.
forgets me as well.
I'll give you his name in a moment. That's
Right.
Aha.
me too.
The book, in fact, has been mentioned by Renoko Rashidi. I know Renoko Rashidi's done some homework up here as well, researching, of course, our contribution.
Okay.
So that's where I remember the name of the book from.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So, I mean, it is interesting, the fact that we've pretty much had settlements right across from far west to right across the far east,
Yeah.
right, in this nation, and it's excellent that there are examples, right, especially now when it comes to now modern day, like on what we're looking for as a people now, what should we do, and so on and so forth, right? We have so many examples in this nation alone that we can draw upon, right, and which could go ahead and alter our decisions in whatever manner that we need it to be,
That's
right?
right. So that's why I keep saying, the black presence has been established from the icy shores of Newfoundland through the rough, rugged terrain of Ontario and Quebec, onto the rolling plains of British Columbia, of Alberta and Manitoba, across the rugged terrain of Alberta, and onto the sun-bathed beaches of British Columbia. The black presence has been there,
Yes.
from east to west. The black
How about
communities have been
Saskatchewan?
established.
No Saskatchewan?
Not yet. Not
There are
not-
some.
not-
There
not
are
in-
some.
Not in today's right. But
There were some later settlements in Saskatchewan.
We'll get
as
them.
well.
But you know what we are going to do? You know what I've just got from this? I think, Mr. Cornish, that more of this needs to be heard. We are going to have you back again. We have
Oh,
to.
my.
I want to make a series of this. This is like part 2. But we need to make a series because you know what? I think this is just good for, we were talking about adult classes, and like we're kind of
Yeah.
doing that right now in a way because
course.
students are going to be watching this. They don't care. They're like, click, we see you in class, Mr.
Yeah.
Cornish. We're not watching you at home. But for our adult listeners, I think this is awesome that we're getting this information because people can take this and then they can go further and do their own research on this type of stuff. So I want to thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much
for coming in. Like, where can people find you and when is this? I know you were working on something. Should we leave that alone?
We've just scratched the surface.
Okay.
Last time I was here, I promoted my research. It has a slightly different cover this time.
Ooh.
But it's called Lessons from the Past, the African Canadian Journey.
Beautiful.
That's my research. Still a work in progress, as I said.
Okay.
I'm looking for a publisher, by the way. If somebody knows somebody with some influence, contact me. Or contact Dave or Simone, and
get in
we can
contact
talk.
with us, absolutely, because I think this is necessary.
I think we can definitely refer you to a few people.
We have a few people we can refer you to because this is an amazing thing.
I'm hoping to finish it this summer.
You did say that you wanted to finish it by the end of the summer. So
wonderful.
Thank you again for coming in.
Appreciate it.
So, Mr. Rainford Cornish, Lessons from the Past, the African Canadian Journey to Freedom. Look out for this. Also, look out for the fact that grade 10s are going to be having a new curriculum. Yeah. Well, not new, but parts of the African. It's an enhanced history class. So thank you so much for your work. We appreciate all the work that you do. You have no idea because this type of information, no one really wants to go through it. It's tedious. So you take the timing to do this.
Appreciate
we thank you. The community thanks you for this.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure.
Mr. Rankin, we'll hug later because you're wearing your reverend suit. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. I hope you've learned with us. We will see you next week, everyone.
Peace
I'm
and love,
here to help you. See you soon.
All the best. Thank you.